All right, everybody, we're on to our guest speaker portion, and I'm super excited to introduce Blake Leeper to you. It's my honor and privilege. Blake is a USA track and field Paralympian. He was born with bilateral fibula hemimelia, which everyone in this room is familiar with. This left him with bilateral congenital below-knee residual limbs. He did let me know that he received his orthopedic care at the Greenville Shriners Hospital as a child, and that he's extremely fond and has a fond place in his heart of all the caregivers there. But he has never let these physical obstacles interfere with his goals and dreams. While at the University of Tennessee studying physics, he had the opportunity to try track and field. And within a few years, he was competing on an international stage and breaking records. He's an 8-time Paralympic track and field international medalist, including representing the USA at the 2012 Paralympics in London, where he medaled twice, and at the 2024 Paralympics in Paris just last year. He's been the world record holder and a 3-time American record holder, and in June of 2018, while running in a field of able-bodied runners, he shattered his own world record in the 400 meters, finishing in 44.42 seconds, the fastest time ever by an amputee. As you'll soon see, however, he's much more than just an athlete. In fact, he's so respected by his peers that he was chosen to be the U.S. athlete for the traditional flag handover at the closing ceremonies in Paris. When not racing or training, he spends his time as a motivational speaker, and he's here today to give us some motivation about his life, and he's going to teach us how his adversity is his advantage, and I'm proud to present Blake Leeper to the stage. Everyone, please welcome Blake.
I am put on this earth for a reason. God put me on this earth for a reason. So whatever I go through for that reason, that means that I'm going through that for a purpose. So for me to walk into my calling, then I have to embrace and accept and try not to fear anything.
Let me tell you something. If tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? Forget everything else. Forget that there was any sunlight left. What would you spend today thinking about? We get one opportunity in life, one chance in life to do whatever you're gonna do, to lay your foundation and to make whatever mark you're gonna make. And it's found through effort. Wins and losses come a dime a dozen. But effort, nobody can judge effort. Because effort is between you and you. Effort ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Whatever legacy you gonna leave your legacy. Because every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. So now you got to go out and show them that I'm a different creature now than I was 5 minutes ago. Because I'm pissed off for greatness. Because if you ain't pissed off for greatness, that means you okay with being mediocre. Ain't no man in here okay with being just basic. So let's do what we do. We ain't got to worry about taking no breaks. Don't worry about taking no breaks.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? My name is Blake Leeper. I'm a U.S. Paralympic athlete. Thank you, Doctor, so much for having me here. It's so refreshing to be in a room where I can say fibular hemimelia and everybody knows what it is. I don't have to explain it. But today, I'm here to share my story of overcoming adversity. Some valuable lessons that I learned being born without legs and breaking world records and now becoming one of the fastest men in the world. But before I start, I just want to take a moment to say to y'all, thank you so much. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your tools and your talents. Thank you for your efforts, because it's individuals like me who benefit from it, and I can live a fulfilled life and travel the world and doing amazing things. But it wasn't for individuals like yourself that's fighting for people like me, I wouldn't be able to have that life. So I just like to start this off to say thank y'all so much for what you do. And I like to go from the beginning, right? I like to start my story. August 31st, 1989 was the day that I was born. Born with a congenital birth defect, fibrillar hemorrhagia. So of course they rushed me out the room. They took me to the NICU, and they came back and had a conversation with my mother and father, right? Mr. and Mrs. Leeper, I'm sorry, but your baby boy Blake is born missing both of his legs. My mom was a nurse, so she kind of understood the protocol, but then it was the laundry list of things of what to expect out of life, right? And so when my parents tell me this story, I'm like, well, what'd you do? Like, Mom, who'd you cuss out? Y'all never got cussed out before, right? That's never happened, right? I'm like, Dad, well, how'd you handle it? And even though I asked the same question over and over and over again, in that moment of tragedy, right? In that moment of shortcoming, they gave me the same answer. They said, Blake, the day that you was born, they rushed you out the room. Yes, we was nervous hearing all the statistics, but the second they brought you back in, the fact that you was missing your legs had no value to us. Because we seen the beauty inside of you. And in that moment, we decided to do two things, right? The first thing, they told me, they said, we're gonna stick together as a family, as a unit. Through the good and the bad and the ugly, we're gonna be in the corner fighting, not for you, but with you, every step of the way. And the second thing, we're gonna keep a positive attitude towards the whole situation. I'm here to tell you guys today that the power of positivity has saved my life. It's like looking at the glass half full instead of half empty. You know, every morning I could wake up and pour me a cup of coffee, and as the sun is rising, start complaining about how hard this is, and oh, woe is me, and you know what, this really isn't fair. And by the time the sun is rising and setting at the end of the day, I would still be sitting there complaining. So my question is to myself, like, who have I helped? What have I got done? So I have to come to the realization that this is who I am as an individual, and I cannot change that, but I can change my attitude towards the whole situation. I can keep a positive attitude in the midst of adversity, in the midst of challenges, and keep fighting forward. Every morning, my mother used to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and knock my door down, poof, and she'd be like, Blake, you have a disability. And I'm like, Mom, it's 6:30. Can you relax for a second? But she will follow it up and say, even though you have a disability, you have 1,000 other abilities that make you a special person. You have 1,000 other abilities that allow you to go out there and be the best man that you possibly can be. So it comes to my first point when Coach Lou Holtz used to tell his football team that I say to myself that life is 10% of what you're dealt with and 90% on how you deal with it. So you look at my life and my situation, the fact that I was born without legs, there's nothing I can do about that. When I go to bed at night, my legs are not gonna be there. When I wake up, my legs still not gonna be there. Unless y'all are coming up with some stuff, you can start growing legs, then we can talk. But I know y'all know some stuff. But as of for now, my legs are not growing. So I have to come to a realization that this is who I am. This is me. But this is not all of me. This is only 10% of me. So if I look at my 10% and I outweigh my 90, that means I still have 90% to show the world what I truly can do. That means I can have 90% to wake up each and every day and have something to fight for. Yes, I am missing my legs. Yes, it might be hard days. Yes, it might be difficult. But that's not going to define me. That's only 10% of who I am. That means I still have 90% to show the world what I truly can do. And I'm not going to stand up here and say, look, guys, I haven't figured it out, right? You stick together as a family, as a unit. You keep a positive attitude towards life. Life is easy. It's simple. That's the key to success. And the reality of it is, we know that's not true, right? Through the trials and tribulations that I faced in my life, what I realized, when it rains, what does it do? It pours. And sometimes it gets hard. It gets harder. It gets harder and harder. I can remember a time. I was a young boy, but I was playing t-ball, right? And this one t-ball season, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to hit a home run, right? Because if I was to hit a home run, I was the only disabled child on the team, and sometimes I would get picked last or not get picked at all. And if I knew if I could hit this home run, I could show everybody, like, hey, I'm just like you. I could contribute to the team. And so I remember like it was yesterday. I go up to the plate and I take my 3 practice swings, right? 1, 2. And on the third, I hit the ball as far as I can. And the ball just starts flying in the air. I get so excited, I forget to run. So I'm just like staring at the ball like, wow, that's pretty cool, right? And so then my teammates are like screaming at me. They're like, run, Blake, run. So I'm running for my life. Like, this is my moment. I'm running to first base, and from first to second, I can see in the corner of my eye, my teammates are like cheering. The crowd's going crazy. Like, this is what I envisioned. Like, this is what I wanted. But on my way to second to third, my leg falls off. Boop, bah. I fall down. I eat dirt, right? The kid comes over. He tags me out. And I just want to say, like, who would tag a kid out missing his legs? Like, you think he let me get back up and let me, but no, he tagged me out. You're out, go home, right, man? Like, geez Louise, it was a tough league. It was a very tough league. Thinking about that, like, I always want to send him like a Facebook message or something, like, hey, man, but anyway, I'll leave it alone. But even though at a very young age, I remember this so vividly, right? I remember like it was yesterday. Like, I look over to my teammates and all that excitement was gone, right? My dad, he was a third base coach, so he can kind of protect me. I look over to my father, and he was so excited, but then he was sad, and he was disappointed, not at me, but at the situation. And I remember one leg on, one leg off. I remember questioning life. I remember questioning the situation, like, why me? Why do I have to go through this? What did I do to deserve this? The only thing I wanted to do was to hit a home run so I could fit in for everybody else. The only thing I wanted to do was just get people to cheer for me. All the kids here, they have their legs. My mom, she's fine. My brother, he's fine. Why am I the one going through this? Why is it so hard for me right now? Why is it so difficult? What did I do? But in that moment, my teammates came over and handed me my leg. My dad rushed over and picked me up. And with more trials and tribulations that I faced in my life, I realized in that moment of shortcoming, in that moment of failure, right, I was embarrassed. And in that moment of embarrassment, I was looking for fault. I wanted to blame somebody. I wanted to blame something. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's their fault. It's life's fault. They're the reason why I'm going through this. But the reality of it is, what I've realized, it was nobody's fault that I fell in that moment. And to be honest with you, it's nobody's fault that I was born without legs. It's life. And sometimes life happens to you for the good, and sometimes life happens to you for the bad. But this is one thing that I realized, that even though it's nobody's fault, right? It's nobody's fault. It's my life, right? So if it's my life, then it's my responsibility to figure this out. If it's my life, I can't wait for somebody else to come and save me and figure it out for myself. I got to figure this out for myself. So I got to figure out the strength to put my leg back on, to get back up to the plate, and metaphorically swing the bat again over and over and over again. That is on me. I got to find the strength to get back up and try it over and over again in the midst of failure, in the midst of the shortcoming, in the midst of adversity. I got to find that within myself to save myself, right? It's nobody's fault, but it's my responsibility to figure it out. So as I was sitting there and saying, why me? I was putting the blame on somebody else. I realized I got to flip it. I got to reverse it. I got to challenge the moment when I'm in the face of adversity. So instead of saying, well, why me? I say, well, why not me? I'm meant for this. Why not me? I'm strong enough for this. Why not me? I'm smart enough for this. Because I'm a true believer that some adversities that we face in our life just doesn't happen to us to make our life harder. It happens for us to make it stronger. So we can overcome it, get through it, learn from it, and then apply it for the rest of our lives. But we would never even have that vision or that view if we didn't go through that adversity in the moment, right? So when I'm in the face of adversity, I don't say, well, why me? I say, well, why not me? I'm strong enough for this. Why not me? I'm smart enough for this. Why not me? I can handle this. And this is gonna make me stronger and stronger each and every day, going through adversity and challenges, and I take responsibility and say, I'm meant for this. I got this. I know it's tough. I know it's difficult. I know I might not see the end of it, but I know I can handle it. I'm going through this for a reason. And I feel like everything in my life was preparing me, right? Everything that I was going through was just getting me ready for one mission after another mission after another mission. I think I went through one of my biggest challenges in my life, and that's when I made the U.S. Paralympic team. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. Getting that all red uniform with the USA on it, y'all, I wore that for a week straight. Please don't judge me. My mom, she would take it, wash it. I'd put it back on, wear it under my street clothes, because you never know when you need like an all red jumpsuit. The answer is never. But in my head, it made sense. It was my first team. And I remember going over to London. It was amazing. And I was like getting ready for one of my first races, the 200 meters. And I'm like walking into the stadium. It was amazing. They had like fountains. It was like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory. Like they just had Gatorades like coming out of the fountains, gold plated like in your names, and people walking around behind you carrying your stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're here. But as I started stepping into the stadium more and more, I started hearing the crowd getting louder into that London Olympic Stadium. And I'm like, oh gosh, I started getting nervous. The louder the crowd, the British, they love to drink and love to get loud. So they was just like screaming. I'm sorry if somebody. And they was screaming. I was like, oh gosh, and then all these doubts and insecurities started seeping into me, right? Like, what am I doing here? I'm about to compete on the world stage. And I started going through my head. I started getting nervous. I don't know if this ever happened to you, the bubble. I call them the bubble guts. Right before you're about to go to perform, right? Right before you're about to go do your thing, I got this nervous energy comes within me. And the guy in front of me, this is my first Paralympic Games, but the guy in front of me I was racing against, it was like his second or third, so he was a pro. So he looked at me and he seen how nervous I was. He said, bingo, I got him. So he started playing mind tricks on me a little bit. He said, Blake, are you ready? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready. He said, great, I'm glad that you're ready. Because isn't it pretty cool? Like they sold out the stadium tonight for us, right? There's a Paralympics and the stadium is sold out one of the first times. I was like, oh, that's cool. He said, yeah, it's going to be 85,000 people out there watching us tonight in that London Olympic Stadium. I said, oh, God, 85,000, oh, God. I tried to keep my composure, but I couldn't. So what'd he do? He hooked, line, and sinker me. He kept talking to me, kept getting into my head because he knew he had me. It was a mental game, right? He said, well, I'm glad that you're ready because, man, you got guys like you from America, us from South Africa, you got China out here, you got Brazil, Switzerland. Like it's going to be in the Netherlands. It's going to be pretty awesome, dude. They're predicting 11 million people to be watching us worldwide tonight. Oh yeah. He's like, oh God, 11 million, y'all. I was so nervous, I couldn't feel my feet. It was just crazy. I was just, all right. That was a test. It's a test. I was making sure y'all paid attention. I ain't got feet. I never feel them, but I was making sure. Okay, all right. I'm making sure y'all got that. Okay, y'all with me. But I started hyperventilating, right? Like the moment became too big for me. Like I saw all those doubts and insecurities. Little boy Blake started to come out. Like, what am I doing here? I'm just a small boy from Kingsport, Tennessee, about to run on the world stage in front of 85,000, 11 million people, and the walls just started like coming in on me. And I'm like, so I leave the call room area and I run to my coach to get some advice in terms of performance, right? And he gave me some of the best advice I've ever received I want to share with you today. And so I'm running to my coach, and I get to my coach. I could barely even get it out. I'm like, hey, 85,000? Coach, 11 million? And he said, Blake, stop. He said, listen to me. He said, are you freaking out right now? I was like, yes. He said, are you scared? Are you going crazy? I'm like, yes, this is why I'm right here in front of you, not over there. And he looked at me with all seriousness. He said, great. That's exactly where I want you at. I was like, what? What do you mean? He said, listen to me. If you didn't study for it, if you didn't fight for it, right? If you didn't work hard for it, then it has no value to you. So you'll go and do it and go amongst your day. But he said, imagine the situation that you're in right now. The blood, the sweat, the tears, the early mornings, the late nights, the grind, the weekend work, everything that you put in just to be in this moment. He said, that's your body alerting you. They said, hey, this is important to us. That's free energy that we produce because the moment is important to us. But what happens is we confuse that free energy with that nervousness and kind of go down this rabbit hole of negativity and negative thoughts of all the things that could possibly go wrong. But what he told me specifically in that moment, he said, I want you to, when you channel that, right, identify that you are nervous. Identify it. It's okay. Hey, I care about this. I am nervous. But after you identify it, you speak nothing but greatness into your life and speak nothing but greatness into the universe. Like, for example, I'm going to go have a great race. I'm going to have one of the best block starts in my life. Man, that curve, I'm going to run that curve so great. Because what happens is, once you speak it with conviction, speak it like it's already happened. Speak it like you already see it. Like don't say, I wish I, like, no, this is what's going to happen in this moment because I worked hard for it. Because once it's out there, right, you speak it out there onto your life, all the greatness that you're going to do in that moment, right before you're about to go perform, right? You speak it out there into the universe. And once it's out there, right, like it's already happened, look, people may not believe you. People may doubt you. They may even laugh at you. You know how many people has laughed at me when I say I want to be one of the fastest men in the world? And they're like, you have no legs. Like, I know, but it can happen. I see it. I feel it. And once you speak it out into the universe, one thing they cannot do is take it away. It's out there. It's out there. All that greatness that you say that you're going to do, it's out there. And once it's out there, you slowly start conforming to all the greatness that you have spoken into your life, because that's where your view is. That's where your focus is. That's where your vision is. All the greatness that you could produce in this moment. And so now you're manifesting your destiny, right? So I looked at my coach. I was like, that's kind of deep right before a race, but I'll take it, because he had me thinking a little bit. So as I walked back into this call room to compete in front of 75,000, 11 million people, and one of the biggest races in my life, this was my thought process, right? First, I'm not gonna lie, I started thinking about all the people who made fun of me. All the times I was laughed at, picked on, bullied, all those tough times that I struggled and had difficulty. I thought about those things. It's like a little flash. Like I started thinking about those things. Then I started thinking about all the people who supported me. My mother, my father, my grandfather, my grandmother, like all the people, my brother, like all the people in my life that told me to keep going, keep pushing, keep striving, don't give up, don't give up. I started thinking about all those people. And then I started thinking about all those workouts, all those extra lifts, all those training sessions, all those wedding, funerals, and graduations that I missed because I was training to try to be the best in the world. All the times people will call me and say, hey, Blake, you want to come hang out? I can't, I got practice. Or my mom will call me and say, hey, you coming home for Thanksgiving? I can't, I got a training session tomorrow. Like all those times that my stumps were bleeding because I trained so hard. Like all those moments that I sacrificed just to be here. I fought just to be here. Then as I started walking out, I started seeing the people in the stadium. But I started thinking, and there was like a light bulb. I was like, oh, that's what my coach, that's what he meant. Man, that dude's smart. That's what he meant. I want this. I want to be here. Like, I don't have time to be nervous or scared or started doubting myself. I fought for this. I want to be here. And then as I get closer, I get into the blocks. Then it hit me one more time. I'm like, oh, that's what he meant. I need this. Like, I need to go perform well. Like all the time and the energy, like I need to go do what I'm born to do, what I'm meant to do. Like, this is my moment. And right before I got into the blocks, it hit me one last time. And I really understood what my coach was trying to get me to in my headspace. And it was like, I deserve this. I deserve to be here. I deserve to go out there and perform at my highest level. Because what sense would it make for me to sacrifice, to go through all the trials and tribulations, to show up late, or show up early, to stay late, to go through all that blood, sweat, and tears to get to the biggest moment in my life and be like, I'm gonna go home. I can't do that. I can't. It sounds crazy, almost ridiculous. So I ask you, as we're sitting in this room today, and all the ups and the downs and the trials and tribulations and the fight that you have personally put into your life, I just ask you if you fought for it, to be here, to be sitting here, to have these goals, these visions, these dreams, to be out here saving lives, saving people. What sense would it make, even though in the midst of adversity and challenges, what sense would it make for you to stop now? Why would you quit? You fought so far. You've come so long. You haven't given. There's many opportunities where you could easily given up, but you didn't. You kept showing up the early mornings and the late nights, all the sacrifices that you have personally put into your life. I just ask you, what sense would it make for you to stop now? I just encourage you to keep pushing forward. I just encourage you to go get what you deserve for all the dreams and the goals and ambition and drive. I just encourage you to keep fighting forward and keep pushing forward. Don't quit now. You fought this far. You've come this far. And it hasn't been easy, right? These past couple of years have been crazy. And you're still standing here today, right? Just go get what you deserve. Go get it, right? And so the gun goes off, and I'm running. And I'm having a decent race. I'm in 5th place. And from 5th, I get to 4th. And then I dive across the line. And once I dive across the line, I win my first ever Paralympic medal. I'm going to find them, which is a bronze medal in the 200 meters, which was truly amazing. Like, just to take a medal home was awesome. And then I came back a couple days later, and I won a silver medal too as well in the 400 meters. And it was pretty amazing just to like be there in the Olympics, the Paralympic Games, and running in the stadium. And I had some family members to come watch me race. So I had like my mother, had my father, had my aunts. I had 2 aunts and my grandmother and my grandfather, right? He's my number 1 fan, my granddad. And right before I raced, I went to my family and said, when I win, right? I didn't go, well, I hope I win, or if I win. Like, no, like when I win, when this happens. When I can't wake up every day and say, man, I hope I walk today. No, man, I have to walk today. I gotta figure this out today. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't care how hard it's gonna be, but I gotta figure this out today, right? So I went to my family and said, when I win, meet me at this part of the stadium, right? So I get my medals. And what was so special when I first made the Paralympic team, I go to my number 1 fan, my granddad. He was my number 1 fan, right? And I go to my granddad. I'm like, hey granddad, like I made the team, right? Would you mind like come watching me race? And he almost got offended. Like what? Like what, boy? You let me know when and where. I'm there, front row. I was like, okay, granddad, it's cool, but they're in London, England, and the issue was my granddad at 74 years old had never flown a day in his life, right? We're from Tennessee, and he's drove. Like if he can't drive it, he's not going. So he's never flown a day in his life. And so I told him the race is in London, England. And he said, okay, sounds good. How long's that drive? I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day. So I was like, look, granddad, look, I know you don't fly, right? And I know it's gonna be big for your first flight ever. So he's hit with the position of supporting his grandson, and he supported his whole life, never flown a day in his life, but he wanted to be there. So I was like, you're gonna have to fly to London. And he said, okay, just give me a couple days and let me think about it, and I'll get back to you. So he thought about it, he called me back over, and he said, okay, I've thought about this thing. I just got a couple questions for you. I was like, yeah, granddad, what's going on? He said, on that plane of yours. I said, first of all, it's not my plane. We fly commercial. And so he's like, oh, okay, but do they serve alcohol on those planes? I was like, yes, they do. So we got my granddad drunk just to get him on the plane. We took him to London, right? And he had time of his life. And like when I won my medals, I grabbed my medals and I'm running to my family. And I think I ran faster to my family than I did in my races. That's what my coach said. I don't know what he's talking about. And so I see my family, and I see my mom, I see my dad, and we're jumping up and down, we're celebrating. I see my aunts and my uncles and my grandmother, but my guy, my grandfather, where's he at? Like, where's he at? And he was in the corner, like hiding himself because he was crying, right? Just crying, just tears were just coming down. But you have to understand, this wasn't tears of sadness. It was tears of joy, right? Because you have to understand, it wasn't just my last name in front of the 85,011 million. It was his last name. And you have to, it dawned on me, like that man right there, he fought for me on days I couldn't even fight for myself. He loved me on days I couldn't even love my own self, right? And in that moment of seeing his grandson being born without legs, running on the world stage, it just hit him with like a sack of bricks. Like, man, he's going to be okay. And watching him go through those rounds of, that was one of the first times I've ever seen him cry before. And watching him go through those rounds of emotions, it dawned on me, it hit me. Like, it's one of my whys. It's the reasons why I do this and why I wake up so hard. Because if I was to quit now, if I was to stop because it got hard, there's somebody talked to me the wrong way, or it was difficult one day, you know how disrespectful it would be to that man right there, because he didn't give up on me. And it's one of the reasons why I just show up with so much motivation and inspiration. I gotta keep fighting. Right? I can't give up now, not right now. He didn't give up on me. I think about my grandfather. I think about my daughter. I think about all the kids all around in the world that's being discriminated against because of their disability. That I gotta keep fighting. I gotta keep breaking records. I gotta keep being out there so I can show them that anything is possible. Like, that's my whys. And as we're sitting here today, I ask you today, what's your whys? Why are you doing this? Why are you showing up each and every day? Why are you fighting so hard? Why is it so important for you? And I just encourage you, like, to keep those whys in the forefront of your mind and your heart and your spirit. Because it's easy when it's easy, but what about on the difficult days? What about on the hard days? What about on the days that you just keep hearing no's after no's after no's? And you gotta find the strength to get out of bed the next day to go back into that. What about on those days? I encourage you on those days to find that strength, to find that motivation, to use your whys, to know your whys, to keep your whys in the forefront. You say, you know what? I can handle this today because I know what I'm fighting for. I know what I'm fighting for because when I'm at practice and I'm running reps after reps, and I get to my 6th rep or my 7th rep, and I'm like throwing up in the trash can, and I'm physically exhausted, and I'm done. And then my coach comes up to me and said, look, Blake, I need another one. And I need this to be your best one. Like, if I was doing it for Blake, I could stop Blake's pain. I'm in control of Blake, right? I would just stop. No, I'm hurting right now. I'm done, coach. But I'm doing it for something bigger than myself. I'm doing it for my grandfather. I'm doing it for all the people that I know I can fight for. So I'll endure this pain right now. That's my why. I can handle this. I know it might be tough. I know it might be rough, but I know why I'm fighting for it. So I can give you another one. And I can give you another one. I can endure this pain today for the bigger sacrifice of why I'm fighting for it. So I encourage you to know your whys, to use your whys, to keep your whys on the forefront of your mind each and every day, because life can beat you up sometimes and life can get hard. But keeping your whys can give you that motivation and that inspiration to keep fighting forward. Now, this is kind of weird. I'm gonna go back. I have the silver and I have the bronze. God, this is so weird. What color am I missing? The gold, right? Like, I don't know about y'all. I'm very competitive, and I don't go to my coach every year. We don't sit down with the team and say, you know what, guys, how can we be number 3 in the world? Or what can we do to take 4th? Or number 2 sounds pretty cool, right? One of my favorite lines, right, is from Ricky Bobby. Talladega Nights. If you ain't first, do y'all know it? What is it? If you ain't first, what are you? You're last. You're last. And that's the mindset that I personally have. Like, look, I am thankful and I am grateful for the opportunities that's been presented to my life. But I wake up each and every day with the mindset, I want to be the best in the world. Why are we doing this if we're not trying to be the best in the world? Why are we showing up, right? I want the gold. I want to be the greatest. I want to break records. I want to do something that the world has never seen before. I want to change minds and perspective. And I want to do it because I know I can do it. It has to go to somebody. The gold medal has to go to somebody. The trophy might as well be us. Might as well be me. So I went home and I studied and I prepared. And I took the silver and I took the bronze and I got nutritionists. Me and my coach, we took it to the next level. I trained, physically, mentally, spiritually. I did everything I possibly could to try to win this gold medal. And so the next year we go to Lyon, France for world championships. I have 4 races. I have the 100 meters, I have the 200 meters, I have the 400 meters in the relay race. And I'm prepared. Like, are you kidding me? I'm so prepared. I worked so hard for this, right? To the point where I can envision the gold medal. I can see it, right? I put a little place in my room special. I had a little box case for it already. It's power manifestation, right? I'm putting it out there. It's going to happen. So I get to the race. First race is 100 meters. I get into the blocks. Bah, the gun goes off. I'm running. Oh, I'm running for my life. I cross the line. When I cross the line, how you guys think I did? What you guys think? How you think I did? I took a silver. Yeah. No gold. And I was like, silver. I was okay. It's okay. Positivity. Stay in the race. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. So I was like, I got a new glasses sponsor. And I was like, it's not me. I'm prepared. It's probably my glasses. So I switched my glasses out, right, and get into another race. A couple days later, I had the 200 meters. And I think I was a bronze medalist the year before. So, oh my gosh, this is my time, right? Like, this is my chance. I'm going to shake that silver medal off. I'll take it. I'm thankful, but I want the gold. And so I get into the blocks, change my glasses. Like, this is my time. This is my moment. I get into the blocks. Bah, the gun goes off. I'm running for my life. I'm having one of the best races. I cross the line. When I cross the line, how you guys think I did? No, I took a silver. Who said silver? Have you heard this story before? So I took another silver. And by then, I'm kind of starting doubting myself. I'm trying to stay positive, right? I'm doing all the things. Like what's going on? Like a silver? Like, that's okay. It's okay. We'll try it again. It's not me. It's probably my glasses. You know what I mean? So I switch my glasses one more time, right? And I have the 400 meters, right? And I was the second fastest man in the world last year. I was like, this is my time. Y'all, I was so confident. I was high-fiving people on the way to the race. I'm like, call me Mr. Gold Medal. Say, hey, this is the time. This is my time. Hey, when I come back here, I'm going to have a gold medal, right? And so I'm like all excited. I get into the race. I get into the blocks. The gun goes off. I'm running. I cross the line. When I cross the line, how you guys think I did? Nah, I took another silver, y'all. And by this time, I'm done, right? By this time, I'm distraught. All the negativity, all the stuff started coming into my head, right? Why would you set yourself up? Who do you think you are? You're trying to be the gold medalist. Like, you just get failure after failure. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but you do everything right. You show up, you do the work, you study. I mean, you prepare so much, and it's still not clicking. Something is not there. Like, you still keep coming up short. And by that time, all the negativity, all the bad stuff started seeping into my head. Like, you'll never be a gold medalist. Why'd you set your sights so high? And as I'm walking with my head down, coming off the track, my teammates come up to me and say, Blake, stop. Look, we understand you've been taking silver all week. You have one more race, and it's a relay race. Right? And how about we study together, we prep together. How about we work together so when the relay race comes, we're so prepared that we know the only thing we're gonna win is the gold. And just like that, my mindset changed. Just like that, I started remembering what I still have on the table, what I still have on my plate. I still have the opportunity and the chance. They got my mind out of the dumps, right? And so that's what we did. We studied, we prepared until we get to the race. And once we get to the race, would you guys like to see the race? I think we should see it. Let's play the race, see what happens. In lane 6, or lane 5. And so you have France, I think South Africa is in this race. Brazil's in this race.
So, French TV have gone close up on Arnaud Assoumani. The white of France, and they're away well, and it's a great start for Brazil. Brazil closing already on Russia in the white, and the Americans closing on the French as they come round. Let's see if all the handovers are clean.
First leg passes the second leg. And then the second leg is now passing to the third leg.
Now, the Russians now, the Americans have handed over as well. This is going to be a very tight contest as they come up to the last.
And then the third leg passes to me, Anchor, yours truly. And I bring that thing home.
Absolutely storming away with it. The Americans storming away. Jared Wallace has handed over to Blake Leeper. Absolutely.
And of course, we cross the line and win, and I win my gold medal! Ah! Y'all, you see, we was so excited. You can cut it, thank you. We were so excited. Not only, right, you thought I was joking with the glasses. I was like my third pair of glasses that week. It was my glasses. But not only did we won the gold medal, but we also broke the world record in that race, being the fastest amputees ever to run a relay race. So like I was so excited, and I really just like, this is one of my favorite stories to tell. Because it just gives me an opportunity to talk about my medals. Isn't that a lot of medals, y'all? That's pretty cool, right? I'm joking. I'm joking. I learned a valuable lesson, right? When I made a decision, I want to be the best in the world. I want to break records, change the game, do something that the world has never seen before. Do something crazy, right? The valuable lesson that I learned was, even though I was so prepared, even though I was still, top in the world, even though I did all the work and all the efforts, by myself, when it was me, I, Blake, what I can do, how I did this by myself, I kept coming up short. The valuable lesson that I learned, for me to be the best in the world, to break records, it's gonna take me a team. A group of individuals with the same mindset, with the same vision, that's there to pick me up when I'm down and out, when I feel like I'm not adequate enough, when I feel like I don't have the tools and the talents. My team was there to lift me up, to pick me up. It took me a team, right? So I ask you today, who's your team? Who you trusting? Who you surrounding yourself with to go out there and break records, to do something the world has never seen before? Who is that? And in return, who are you servicing as a team member? Because it's a two-way street. It goes both ways, right? So I ask you today, who's your team? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Now, before I close, can we play the next video too as well? I was with Tom, and he asked me a specific question, and I love playing this video. God did not put me on this earth to sit aside. And every day that I wake up, I say I want to be one of the fastest men in the world. And I have no legs.
set your own goals, rise to the occasion, and fight for your dreams, man. That's what I want to stand for. That's who I want to be. When you have excuses, that means you're pointing fingers, right? It's their fault, or it's his fault. Or you're losing your power. So at the end of the day, I'm thankful that I was born without legs.
And the question he asked me was like, Blake, do you ever wish you never had to go through this? Do you ever wish you was just born normal and just lived a normal life? And I was trying to think of something crazy and philosophical, but I couldn't. I froze, and that was my answer. It's like, no, I don't, Tom. I'm actually thankful that I was born missing both of my legs. And some people are like, what? Like, why? What do you mean? Because what I've realized throughout my life is that my strength comes from my struggles, right? The fact that I was written off from day one, I got to prove to myself how strong I truly can be in the face of adversity. So if I come stronger from the struggles that I face, because look, I'm gonna overcome them. We're gonna overcome them. And we've had some hard days, right? I mean, days where just tears are just rolling up down our eyes, but we have a 100% rate of getting through those hard days, right? And once we get through them, we get to carry everything that we learned from those hard days. We become stronger from those hard days. So if my strength comes from my struggles, then my advantage in life is my adversity, right? When I'm in the face of adversity, I learn things. When I'm in the face of adversity, I figure out things. When my back's against the wall, I get stronger from it. So if somebody asks me, would you ever wish that you never had to go through this? No, I don't. I'm thankful for this. I'm proud of this. This is who I am. My adversity in life is my advantage in life. So whatever challenges that you're facing today, I encourage you, accept them. Whatever obstacle or shortcomings that we're going to face tomorrow, I encourage you to lean into them, to use them, to become stronger from them. Because that's where our strength truly lies. Don't be afraid of it or shameful of it. Lean into it and use it, because that's where your strength truly is. My adversity is my advantage. And before I close, I just like to say, I go back to that day. I go back to all the things that people thought I probably wouldn't be able to do in my life, being born without legs. But having individuals like yourself creating a life for me and for other people to say, no, we got some things. We're figuring out some things. We're learning some things. But with the right mindset, with the right team, with the right vision, right? With the right fight within yourself. I'm just a true believer that anything is possible. Can you play the last video? Like, I just go back to the day when I was born, and here I am, born without legs, and I'm running all around the world. I'm just a true believer that anything is possible. I'm just a true believer that if you fight for your dreams, I'm just a true believer with the right team, with the right mindset, when you challenge the moment and say, well, why not me? I'm meant for this. Why not me? I'm strong enough for this. Why not me? I'm smart enough for this. Accepting the 10% and say, this is my 10, but I still have 90% to show the world what I truly can do. I still have 90% to wake up each and every day and surround yourself with the right people. Oh my gosh, I'm just here to say that anything is truly possible. You can cut. So continue to fight, to continue to strive, and don't give up. I'm just thankful for the work that y'all do each and every day, so I can do what I do each and every day. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And as I close, I love to end with this quote. It's from Dr. Martin Luther King, and he said, if you can't fly, then run, right? I can run, right? I can run, but there's days where I can be the fastest man in the world and I can't even run because my stumps are bleeding. I got an infection. I can barely even get to the bathroom. So on the days I can't run, that means I can't do nothing. No, on the days you can't run, then walk to it. But man, my legs are swollen today. My stumps are bleeding. Like I can't even walk to the bathroom today. I just went from running 24 miles per hour. I can't even walk to the bathroom today. Do I give up then? I have to remind myself, if you can't walk, then you crawl. You crawl to it. You gotta crawl to it. But by all means, I just encourage you to keep moving, and I like to add forward. Keep moving forward. Thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
So I don't have to say how amazing that was, but Blake's been kind enough to spend some time and he'll answer some questions. I know I have questions, but do you have questions for him? Anyone want to come to the podium? We had the opportunity to talk a little bit a couple weeks ago, and he was sharing with me some of the details about his blades and how he chooses his blades for certain races and how they even decide the height of his blades for certain things, which I find to be fascinating. So if anyone is interested in that, we wouldn't mind
I would.
sharing a little bit about that.
I love to start there. So, I actually have a video. Can you play the race video real quick? I think. And so basically, it's interesting. So in 2018, I broke the world record. This is the race that started it all. And at that time, my height was 6'2", running on a pair of running blades from Germany, the Autobahn blades. And this is the national championships against the fastest able-bodied runners in America.
Watch Montgomery in 3 in the blue and green colors, off to a very strong start.
Not surprised that Trevor still would hold back a bit.
So of course I start a little bit slower than everybody else because I don't have the lower limb extremities to push off on. But once we kind of hit the 200 meters, that's when I kind of get back into the race. And then that's when the race really begins.
And don't take your eyes off Blake Leeper. He's now third from the left, and he's going to have the best finish. Michael Cherry had a very promising opening, 250 meters, but it's Blake Leeper. Blake Leeper with the advantage, and Leeper will go all the way to win.
Boom, we cross the line, break the world record. You can cut it. And so after that, I received an email from the Olympic Committee 4 days later saying that I have an unfair advantage against able-bodied competitors, and then I went to the Court of Sport to fight the Olympic Committee to compete in the 2021 Olympic Games. It was 2020, because that time qualified me for the Olympics. It put me 5th in the world against able-bodied runners, and basically that time would have medaled in any past Olympics leading up to that one, and I would have been on the relay team. The final decision, so we went to court. They tried to combat the technology. It could have went either way, but the final decision was, given their science, if I had legs, which I was born, of course, fibula hemimelia, I was born, if I had legs, my max height would be 5'8.8. And because I run at 6'2" in my running legs, it gave me an unfair advantage against able-bodied competitors. So we went back and forth, of course. And that was the final decision, so I wasn't able to run in the 2021 Olympic Games against able-bodied competitors or Paralympics, and then I had to go shorten my legs by 6 inches to continue my career to compete in the Paralympic Games. So it became this whole debate of what's wrong, what's right, and here I was sitting it was during COVID, so everything was on Zoom, but it was just interesting. And I had an aha moment for me, right? And I started laughing weirdly, right? My career was on the line. I started laughing. I was like, wow, I became so fast that the Olympics think I'm cheating. I was born without legs. Like that's a win right there. Like that is a win. But it was like a whole conversation back and forth. It could have went either way. My wingspan's about 5'11", 6 foot. I set my blades up for 6'2" because of the compression of the blades, and you're running how you run on your toes. When you land and dorsiflex, your tallest position to sprint is on your toes. It's like you're running on your tippy toes when you release. So my blades were set at 6'2" to combat for all those running positions and the mechanics. But at the end of the day, you know, it could have went either way. But I realized, because the main thing was fairness to the sport, right? They try to protect the sport and keep it fair. And they said, look, Blake, it's not against you particularly. It's just if we allow you to run in the Olympic Games with prosthetic limbs, then they can open up a can of worms to other individuals say they want to take their eyeball out and put a prosthetic eye to shoot, for a shoot. Like they went there. They're trying to protect the sport. But I had an aha moment when I realized, like, man, you know, this really isn't fair, right? Them trying to judge me and figure it out how tall me being 5'8", I don't agree is fair. But being born without legs in this world, I realized life isn't fair. Life don't owe you nothing, right? And so I realized that, man, I'm not owed nothing in this world. And so I understand that, and I know that. And that gave me a better perspective of accepting that. It's like, I mean, that's not right. I should be like, look, like, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's fair. So knowing that, I just encourage people, and I encourage myself that when we find the beauty in life, when we do get those wins, right? When we do get that yes, when things do fall into place, be so thankful for that and celebrate it. Celebrate with your team, celebrate with yourself, celebrate with your family. You know what I mean? Because you never know when one day they're going to look up and say, you're too tall to run against able-bodied runners. And so now I'm working on a new pair of legs. Actually I found a blade company out of Japan who makes blade runners for their Japanese runners that fit my proportion size now. And so I've been collaborating with, they're called Zyborg, a new company out of Japan, back and forth to try to get my time back down into being 6 inches shorter. So I started out, I was running 44 seconds. And then once I made the initial change, I had to learn how to rerun again. I dropped to like 52 seconds, 51. This past year, I'm back down to 47 seconds. I went 47.3. On my way down to 46, 40. So I'm just like chopping wood, right? I'm getting there. I'm learning things. I'm learning new things about my body, about my. We was talking. I'm super valgus, I guess. Like I sit. You guys know that. See, y'all know. Like I sit like this. I just like walk, just like. I try to work on it, but you see my races and my runs are just like, I get so exposed. It's so funny. My daughter, she's 4. And she thinks when I'm running, I'm dancing. She's like, look, Daddy, I run like you. I'm like, like, no, you're not supposed to run like that. It's a medical condition, I promise. But just those things, trying to combat my alignment and stuff, it's making me a better person. It's making me a better runner and a better human being dealing with this, so, yeah.
Dr. Paley.
When Oscar Pistorius ran in the Olympics, it was legal.
Yes.
So what's changed?
That's very interesting. So Oscar Pistorius was the first blade runner, as we know, to run. And so when he qualified, and he ran at 6'1", so mind you, we was within a half an inch between each other when he ran in the Olympics. The burden of proof was on the Olympic Committee. So they had to prove that he didn't gain an unfair advantage. So they took him through a range of testing. You know that last video I showed you when I was running on the treadmill? That was me testing with the Olympic Committee with dots to take the information. When they submitted the information with the burden of proof on them, they left out all the good stuff or the bad stuff, saying like, well, they just gave him the stuff that looked like he was cheating, right? And because they didn't submit all the information, they didn't feel their burden, and so they automatically lost the case, and he got the run. So after they lost the case, they went back into the rule book and switched the burden of proof. And when they switched the burden of proof for the next athlete, which was me, had to cross over and try to prove, I had then to prove to the Olympic Committee why I didn't gain an unfair advantage. And so I gathered all the information. I went to go test. I went to Colorado to they have some scientists in Colorado. Dr. Hugh Herr, he got in on it out of MIT. And we submitted all this information to them, and they said, nah, that's not enough. You can't run. And so the same lawyers on Pistorius' case was on my case. They said, look, the burden of proof is on the athlete. That's not fair. So they switched. They was like, look, we got to have another case, right? Let's switch the burden of proof and make the Olympic Committee try to prove, right, that he does gain an unfair advantage. So we went back to court. Then when we went back to court the second time, they said, well, we really can't prove the technology, but what we know one thing for sure, given our science, is that Blake would be 5'8" if he had his legs, and he runs at 6'2", so that's an unfair advantage.
That's the next question, which is how did they objectively determine what your height is?
So it's a formula that they created.
I mean, I published the paper on this, so yeah, I really want to know because I could probably help you prove what your real height should be.
So there's a formula that they created. Thank you. Let's talk. We got to talk. This is good. We got anywhere to go? This is good. So there's a formula that
we published a paper 2 years ago showing you can predict based on your femur length. Okay.
Yes.
What your forget about your height. The rest of you hasn't changed, right? So all we care about is your tibia length and your foot height. Those are calculable.
Yep.
And they're calculable very accurately with very low range. So thing is, if we know your femur length, we know your tibia and your foot height length.
And that can you just implement it.
Yeah, I mean, and you can take if they're off from what they're saying, you can take a paper and prove this. I'll come to court with you.
No, this is great. This is great. So what they do is they take it's 4 points. So it's from, I guess, your knee to your hip, right? And then it's your sitting height. And then once you take your sitting height, they take from elbow to shoulder.
All BS.
Shoulder.
Complete crap. The only thing, they have to first of all do an x-ray because any clinical measurements are not valid. They only need one measurement.
Yes.
An x-ray of your femur, your thigh bone. You measure your femur length, you've got everything else. And it doesn't matter the rest of your height. It's fixed. Your spine, your head, your neck, all of that is fixed. All we need to know is tibia plus foot and add it to your height from your knee up.
Yes.
And you're done.
Yep. Hey. Yeah, this is good. I'm gonna see you later. Let's take down the Olympic committee, guys. Let's do this thing. No, that's great. But yeah, so that's that'd be.
We're going to the Olympics with you.
Yes, because if I can get 2 to 3 extra inches back, it's over. I'm breaking world records again.
You're like, that's another way.
Yes, We're trying to grow some stuff.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. You really light up the room, and you are a real inspiration to all of us. Many of us, many people in this society have become increasingly interested in osseointegration. And I wonder if you had an opinion about osseointegration for amputee athletes. It's a little bit controversial. There are many people who are doing osseointegration who are really discouraging people from running. And we're not really sure 100%, but I do have a few patients that are running, and they have definitely reported back to me that they're running in a much superior fashion. So I guess the question has 2 parts. As a amputee athlete, is that something that sounds interesting, or does that sound absolutely crazy? That's sort of part 1 of it. And part 2, what's your opinion about the potential regulatory aspect of it in the Paralympian environment?
Yes, it's interesting. I've seen a few patients too with it. It's somewhat new for me. I've always wear sleeves to make the connection. And one of the biggest issues as an amputee is just like that connection with like the leg, right? It can just pop off any time. And like I've been in middle races and the leg just like flies off. I've been running like 10.9, the leg just like shoots off everywhere. So to make that connection easier for the athlete, yes, I'm definitely on board. The process for me being congenital, it seems like it would be painful, right? Just from the initial state and just with infections and stuff like that, because you sweat a lot. So that on that aspect, it just seems, just from another amputee, it just seems scary, right? It just seems like a long road. But I know for some amputees, like they can't get over having a sleeve and connecting, and then you got the swellness of the stump back and forth, and they go through that process of never being able to find the right prosthetic leg. So if that can minimize that to get to there, then I'm all for it. I've never really looked into it personally, and it's not that common from in the sports world that I've seen so far, but I know it is growing on a daily. So it just seems different for me, I would say. But I know it's helped out a lot of individuals that's had that connectivity problem of keeping that prosthetic leg on.
Well, it increases stability, and in my opinion, it's going to make athletes faster.
Yeah.
And so, what about the regulatory component of it? I mean, do you think that the committees will be very suspect of it in the beginning?
Yes. Well, and the rules within the Paralympic Games is that you can run on anything that is applicable to the public. So if the public can have access to it, right? So you can't kind of be in your garage making some things, but as long as you can go online or in theory, right, and have access to it, then it hits the regulation for the Paralympic Games. And so, and two, you have to understand what I love about it, just bigger picture, is you have these certain countries, these third world countries, who can't afford, like, you guys know, like these legs can get expensive. Like these sleeves, like just my sleeve itself can, get $600, $700, $800 for one sleeve. And I'm a double, so you double that, and I go to 2, 3, 4 a year. That's just the sleeves, not alone the leg. And so there's been times where I've been at the Paralympic Games, the games wrap up, we're all high-fiving, and we're like, man, that was a great week. Oh man, we're packing up our stuff, and these countries come up to us and say, hey guys, look, I know the season's over. We don't have much access to this equipment. Do you mind? You know what I mean? Can we get some of your sleeves or stuff like that? And I'm like, are you sure? It's like sweat pouring off of it. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, we don't care. We'll wash it. So to minimize that, I see the bigger picture of allowing more athletes to gain more access to better equipment and to say, look, let's do this. You're good to go, and then now we can just focus on the leg itself. You ain't got to worry about sleeve. You ain't got to worry about pin system. So I see the bigger picture where if it can get more mainstream, I think it's just that the idea of it, right, scares a lot of athletes and a lot of individuals, just the way it looks, or just the way, so we could familiarize it more or make it more comfortable, more acceptable. I think a lot of people have a different view on it.
Mike.
Thanks so much. Super inspirational talk. Quick question. So my training's in oncology. A lot of our discussions for lower extremity tumors are discussions on amputation versus limb salvage. Similar discussion for yourself, and I'd be curious, do you counsel any kiddos who are going through that? What does that look like? How do you advise them? Obviously, you're incredibly successful with bilateral amputations. Your story's amazing. But discussing functional status with limb salvage versus amputation, how do you manage that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'd say I'd be the wrong person to go to, because I'm like, cut it off, do it. Look how cool it is. But that's a hard conversation, especially for the parents. I know the parents struggle really bad. Like I'm supposed to cut my child's leg off, foot off. And I remember a guy who came. His name is Jared Wallace. He actually took bronze in a long jump, and he runs 100 meters. He just went like 10:91 in 100. And he ran cross country. He's an 800-meter runner down in Georgia. And you guys would know the term. It's like shin splints, but the extreme version of it. I don't know the specific name. Yeah, it's like stress fracture. And so when he lost the ability to compete, and I remember he came to a Paralympic trials when he had his leg, because he was thinking about amputation. And so he came and we're running and meeting him, shaking hands and high-fiving and doing this thing. And he went back and amputated his leg and made it by just spending that time and just with us. So for me, you think about quality of life, right? I know some individuals get scared about the amputation, but I tell people, man, 2025, you guys know better than anything, it's the best time to be disabled. Honestly, with technology, with the minds, with the things that we're creating and the things that we're coming up with, if you're going to be disabled, if you're going to be missing a leg, this is the time to be missing a leg. Now, back in 40, 50 years ago, it might be a different story, right? But now that they're creating so many, I know there's like a new robotic ankle that's coming out right now that just like that reads and that integrates. There's so many amazing stuff. So for me, I would ask, what do you want out of life? You know what I mean? What kind of quality, like, do you want to continue your sports career, or do it's not for everybody, but if that's a route that you see yourself, you want to continue to keep running, right? You want to continue to do things. I'm biased, right? I would say it's not bad having a prosthetic leg right now, especially in this day and age. So I always encourage people to outweigh the options, but to show them the unlimited possibilities that you can do with a prosthetic leg. And yes, initially it's going to be a rough road, right? Initially you're going to have swellness in the stumps. You're going to have to go through some different sockets and different prosthetics. But once you figure it out, like my guy Jared, I think he's in year 6 or 7. It's his life and it's his journey. And then not once I've ever heard him say, "Man, I wish I would have kept my leg." Like, he's thankful that he amputated. But that's a big decision to make and a very scary decision to make. So that's why I try to do as much as I can, just to show, like, hey, this is the other side of it, and this is what you can do. And they have, you guys know, they have running legs, they have biking legs, they have legs you can put heels on. I've never tried them, but that's what they say. Right? You can wear heels. Like, there's so many things that you can do now with the prosthetic leg. So if you was to ask me, and you have a patient, especially a young patient, whose quality of life is declining because of their leg, but they want to save it, I would encourage them to look at all the options and look at all the things that you possibly can do with a prosthetic leg. And like, your life is not over because you lose your leg. It's just the beginning.
So we can continue this discussion, but I also want to be cognizant of the break. So if those of you that want to go take your break, feel free. Blake is kind enough to continue talking with us. He's also willing to take pictures and share his medals, show you his medals.
Yes, absolutely.
Aaron, I think you were next.
Yeah, so first, that initial video, man, I almost went downstairs, started working out to become the fastest man in the Limb Length and Reconstruction Society.
Let's go.
Yeah. 2 questions.
Yeah, right.
I was in the gym this morning, so I was out running. 1, have you ever talked to your mom about how she made the decision with you? And number 2, how do you talk to your 4-year-old daughter about your body?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, me and my mom, we've had conversations a lot about that situation. And now that I'm a father, my daughter, she's turning 5 this year. And I go back to my parents, and, they did I would say, a really good job of treating me, I hate to say normal, but just treating me like any other kid. There's been times where I can remember as a kid, I'd wake up, like for example, I remember one morning I woke up and my legs, I was like going to elementary school, and like it just wasn't, like my legs were not working, right? Like I would step, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't get it. I thought it was my stumps, like I'm in pain. And so I go to my mom, like, Mom, I can't go to school today, right? I can't do it because my legs are hurting. And she sat me down and said, Blake, that's not acceptable. We got to figure this out. I don't know what it is. I don't know what we got to do. Let's take a moment, right? Let's pray about it. Let's figure this out, because the rest of the kids, they're going to school. They're going to go figure it out. And if you stay home, it's going to set you back. And so that was the mindset that she instilled in me. So that's what we took. I remember we took a step back. Then by the time we took a step back and thought about it, I looked down and I had my left leg on my right leg and my right leg on my left leg. So my legs were backwards. But it's just those moments, right? That it was that tough love and expect, because of my disability, a lot of people, you got like some people are like, it's okay. You can take the easy way out. It's okay. But the biggest gift that somebody can give me with my disability is challenging me. Is trusting me and looking past my disability and saying, no, you're stronger than that. So I'm gonna challenge you out of love to see your true potential. And so now that I have my daughter, it's interesting because she's understanding that I'm different, right? In her world, it's just like she wakes up in the morning, right? And she finds my legs. She's like, where's Daddy's legs at? Because she knows I need my legs. So she grabs my legs. She hands them to me to put them on, and then she starts bossing me around. So she's like, like, Daddy, go get my juice. Daddy, go do that. So she makes the connection that, look, Daddy needs his legs, right? To run, to jump, to play. But once he has his legs, I can boss him around. He can be my servant every day. And I love it. And she treats me just like any other person. But it's interesting because I thought her being around me, she would be like, oh, that's a prosthetic leg. I went to go see some of my buddies who are missing their legs. And she seen him, she like froze and stopped and was like, Daddy, they have a prosthetic leg like you. And so she makes those connections, which I think is going to be cool. Like, we're normalizing disability, right? We're getting to a point where we're normalizing. It's okay, you know, yeah, you are different. But, you know, because when I grew up in the 90s, you really didn't see many amputees on TV or anything. And now in the 2000s, now, you know, we're starting to see a lot more, you know, familiarizing with disability and say, hey, you can live a normal life, you know, with a prosthetic leg, you know, on TV and acting, whatever it is. So my daughter, she understands it, she knows it, but I don't think she really truly knows it just yet. But she does still boss me around though. So I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Thanks a lot.
Steve.
Sure. So coming back to this whole thing of 5'8" and they determine.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard of the term stature lengthening? So here's the new concept. This is your people.
Okay.
Literally, the people in this room are the ones that would do this. Basically, if somebody wants to be taller, we lengthen their legs.
Okay.
And they can be several inches taller or more, based on purely elective lengthening, right?
Yes.
So there's no rules against stature lengthening in the IOC, is there?
Not that I know of.
So you met us and we lengthened your legs. What's the fucking problem?
Yeah. No, I agree. I know, I'm 1,000. We could do that, right? We could do that. Yeah, right? Yeah, like the formula, I think the formula is off, right? The formula is completely off. They actually, so the formula that they came up with, they use a test population in Australia. So they tested 50 or like 20 or 30 Australian men. And then they created the formula and they tested it against 15 Japanese Asian men. And then once they created that formula, they said, this is what we have. And so given the fact that we don't have many resources in the Paralympic Committee, this is the best that we can do. And so when you implement my body structures, I personally think I just come off. Like I'm just 5'8" is just too short for me. That's why I stand at 5'8" now. I'm 5'8" across the board. I'm 5'8" in my running legs, and I'm 5'8" in my walking legs. You know, my fiance, she's like, you catfished me. This is BS. When I met you, you was 6'2". Now, so she can't wear heels now. It's tragic. She's so mad at me. She's so mad. But I'm like, I gotta get, like, I was like only doing it in my running legs, and then I would like go to my walking legs at 6'2", and I just like feel short again. So I got little man syndrome now. Like you just like see me walking around, I'm just like mad for no reason. But but I'm learning to try to cope with it. But I agree with you that we could beat this, right? We could beat this. I'm not done with it yet because I got 2 years for the LA 2028 Olympic Games and Paralympic Games that I plan on running in. And if I can get some couple inches back, I'd be pretty dangerous.
We're all stuck on this. I'm stuck on this also. So do they have the same formula, whether you're an amputee for a congenital reason or for another reason? It's all the same?
It's all the same.
So like you actually, your femurs are probably a little shorter because you have the congenital deformity.
Yes.
So I mean, we have lots of reasons to help you tell them.
Yes.
So I feel like you need to use this resource and get them to fix this.
No,
honestly, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And I wish I would have had y'all in the room and just to explain these to these arbitrators, or you know what I mean, these men and women who made the decision, who are are not as smart as you guys, who don't understand, but they stood by it, and that's the other thing. Like they stunted my growth too as well. That was a thing back in the so I got fit prosthetics the best way. So my stumps are a little bit stunted a little bit, and I had some amputations. But me personally, I think I would be about cause my wingspan's like 5'11", 6-footish. So I think I'd be around 5'11", 6 foot, right? And then what's the problem is my other competitors, right, who are different races, didn't lose that height. They lost like 2 to 3 inches on this new, where I lost 6 inches. So now I'm competing against other guys who are now the height that I was. They said I was cheating at. They're 6'2", they're 6'1", they're 6 foot. Because I think just the information and the data collection is just off. It's misrepresentation, and it doesn't represent who I am. Because I have a short torso. I have a really short torso. I have high hips. Like my hips sit really high, right? And my limbs are very long. Like my arms are very long. But when you implement my short torso, and I think I have a short femur. They said my femur is like very, very short. Or not my femur, humerus. My humerus is very, very short, but I still have long limbs. But when you break them each down, and they have a separate entity of like what it could be, it kills me. It drops me. They say you would be a 5'8" man. I'm like, no, like you gotta look at the bigger picture. But at the end, like honestly, they did this to protect the sport, right? They didn't want a disabled man running in the Olympic Games, so they did this to try to set us back so we can figure it out.
2 quick comments. I'd like to use you as an example.
Yeah.
I'm a prosthetist, and so treating people like this is incredible. It's a treat. It's what made my career. You're learning from him that being an amputee is not a disability for him. So the guy that came up and asked, how do you talk to your kids or your patients or your parents? Let your patients go talk to a prosthetist if they're contemplating amputation. I used to do pre-surgical consults with my foot and ankle guys, and let us talk to the patient about what they're going to go through, what's in front of them. The other thing they're going to do is meet other amputees that are sitting in my lobby. And they're going to watch them get up and walk around, and they're going to be in an environment where they're not weird anymore. They're normal. Everybody else in there is missing something. So if you have a prosthetist in your community that you can connect like that and do pre-surgical consults, it's fantastic. Second thing, look at the end of his residual limbs and his sockets and the distance to the ground. And whether you're 6'2" or you're 5'8", this doesn't matter. In med school, most of you guys were taught to preserve the lever arm, preserve as much tibia or preserve as much femur as possible. And I'm here to tell you, don't necessarily do that. We need room under the end of that residual limb to put a prosthetic foot that will meet the goals of the patient. And the goal of an 80-year-old patient is going to be different than the goal of a 14-year-old patient. And so we need room under there to mount the carbon legs, to have the deflection rate of the bend. And so again, with my pre-surgical consults based on the goals of the patient, I would actually take a surgical marker and mark on the patient's leg and take a measurement and tell my surgeon, based on what this person's going to want and need, here's what the amputation level needs to be. And it's life-changing if you have that extra half inch or extra inch to meet their goals with their foot or their prosthetic knee or whatever it is you're fitting. So thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great.
Do you work at all with anyone in the veteran community or have any connection from that side with the amputees there and any of their athletes and like Warrior Games and things like that?
In what way? Like?
I don't know. I guess my question is like, do any of those resources overlap? Because I know that they have Warrior Games and some of like those things in the veteran community, and then like from the Paralympic side, like does any of that cross over?
Yeah. So one of my coaches, he used to coach for the Wounded Warriors. So they would take us up at Camp Hamilton and work with some of the Wounded Warriors and try to get them back to competing at the high level. And I would say like going through that experience, it taught me a lot, right? And the biggest thing it taught me was one of my biggest gifts that I was given was being born like this. Honestly, like going through this since birth, because I never had time to compare, or I didn't have time to think like what it used to be like, and that's been one of the, like working with those guys up at Camp Pendleton and stuff, that's what I like watching them and seeing them work with them, is that they get the leg amputated, they're making great progression, right? It's going great, but in the back of their mind, they always are comparing to what it used to be like, or like, I'm running, but it's not as smooth as it used to be. And the guys that would hold on to the past, they'd be like, I'm going good at this, but it's not as, they struggled. And for those who say, you know what, it is what it is, and can just get over that mental hump of just saying, this is where I'm at, I'm gonna make the best out of my situation, they made the best progression in their sport, with their leg, or whatever the situation may be. But for me, I never had nothing to compare to. And so I try to integrate that mindset to those guys. We're trying to do a better job of trying to integrate it more into it. Because at the end of the day, not everybody wants to be a Paralympian. Not everybody wants to go break world records. They just want to go run with their son or their daughter. They just want to be able to go to cheerleading practice or drive or whatever, play soccer. And so just let them know and understand, like, you don't have to go win gold medals. We just want to get you out there and get running. But don't worry about what it used to be like. Like, this is your new life.
How old were you when you had your amputations?
I was 4.
Okay.
So I call it amputation, but really it's a revision. I'm sorry. Like, it's just so much easier to tell people I'm an amputee. They cut 2 toes off on my left leg, and they revised a little bit on my right leg so I can fit because I was getting blisters. And then they put 3 pins to line me up a little bit on each side, and then I was in a half body cast for like 8 weeks.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I was telling the story the other day. You guys. So I was late 80s, right? I was 5 years old, and they put the 3 pins in my legs on each side. But when they did it, I was under anesthesia. But then they let it sit there for 8 weeks because it's like, oh, after 8 weeks they'll probably fall out. So when they brought me back up to take the pins out, I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna go. I got another surgery, and it was like, we're not putting you under for this again. You're too young. Basically, like, you're too young, right? It's like, what do you mean? So they take me to the back room, and and it was like, it was 1 nurse, then it was 2 nurses, and then it was 3 nurses, and I was like, what's going on? There's a lot of nurses in here. And then my mom was a nurse, so she was in there, and by the time they got the 5th nurse in there, they just pinned me down and got some pliers. It just like pulled each pin out one by one. My dad left the room. He's throwing up. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, get these people off. Like, I was screaming, and I'll never forget the pins, but that's like some of the stuff that I can just remember so vividly. Just even as a child, like what I had to go. I still have the marks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, definitely.